Hello, everybody, and welcome to the personal development and training time. I'm forgetting the name of my own show here. So welcome to Tuesday's personal development and training. Today is the last day of January. Can you believe that? Wow. I don't know about you, but my January actually had a very slow start, very slow momentum. Definitely had to kind of recuperate from the holidays and really try to figure out who I am and what I want to accomplish this year. So I hope you've had that time to do that for yourself. Today, we have an absolutely wonderful special guest, a really good dear friend of mine, Peter No. I'm sure you all know him. He's a senior presidential director with our particular company, but he has had lifetimes within lifetimes. He's had a very full life, this particular lifetime. And I'm just going to bring him on because it's all about him today. Peter, you want to say hello? Unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. And I think it's our first interview together. So we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Absolutely. So tell everybody, I mean, I know a little bit, but I'm sure a lot of people have not heard your actual story. You know, where did you grow up? What was your life about? What makes you tell us about you?
Oh, good thing we have an hour. We're good.
Got my coffee.
It's kind of funny, being in the industry, before I share where I came from, it's just funny because being in the industry for so long, doing so many presentations for our previous company, you always share your story and, where you come from, what you've done. But being here in Lifeway for the last 3 years, because we created this system and storytelling where we're just hearing other people's stories and their challenges and issues, and we focus on that. It's kind of funny to have an interview with you today because I don't even feel like in 3 years, none of us know each other. So I love these calls, Wendy, and all the leaderships and everything that we have created here now for all our workout buddies, just to get to know us better. So, and everyone, if you don't know me by now, my name is Peter No. I'm sure I've met a lot of us here already, but my background, my story, I was born in Austria. Does everybody know where Austria is? Okay. I spoke German for 10 years of my life. I had a really great upbringing. I have a mother, father, and a younger sister. And don't ask me how we got there. My mom just said we were pregnant and they just took us over there. And then one day my mom said, "Hey, we're gonna move to America." I was like, "Really? What's over there?" They're like, "A better life." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm sure for everyone that was not born in America, we all around the world had the American dream, right? So my parents had the American dream for my sister and I. We moved here when I was 10. So I am 45 now. So I've been in America for 35 years, okay? But when we came here, we moved into Santa Ana. It was not like the best place to live. It was not the American dream. But in Austria, where my parents lived, we had a very simple life. My parents were entrepreneurs. But when we came to America, literally, my parents took us out to Disneyland. They took us out to wherever to have fun. And then remember, at 10 years old, the next 8 years, literally my elementary school, my junior high school, my high school, my sister and I were called latchkey kids. Does anybody here knows what latchkey kids are? Literally picked us up from school, took us home. It was just my sister and I eating McDonald's every day and junk food and just watching TV. We didn't have any pets. I did not play any sports, had no team friends because, my parents, all they did is work, work, work. They got into the sweatshop business and they just worked all the time. So I never got to see my parents after that. And that's why, it was just latchkey kids. And during high school, when I went to school, I had this issue. Every time a teacher would talk, I would fall asleep. So at an early age, I kind of realized I had ADD. Does everybody know what ADD is? I realized I had that. I literally fell asleep. I graduated high school with literally a 2.0. That was the bare minimum to graduate. And I even had to take extra classes my last quarter to graduate. I tried college. I went for one semester. I slept throughout the whole semester. And my mom's like, hey, look, son, if you're not gonna go to school, you gotta have something. You gotta have skills. And good thing at that time, my parents, my mom and dad, they transitioned out of the workshop, the sweatshop, and we went. They opened up a salon. So my mom got into the beauty industry right when I was 18, and she's like, okay, you know what? If you're not gonna go to school, I'm gonna put you into a hair school. I was like, hair school? What do I know about hair school? But what I didn't know is because at that time, I didn't know how good I was with my hands. I was really good. So then I actually learned during a hair school that I can actually talk to people, at a young age. Remember, I did not play any sports. I didn't go to college. I literally missed my whole teenage years. I didn't grow up literally with friends and colleagues and do all the fun stuff that every teenager or experienced during college. But my mom took me to hair school. I was so good at cutting hair. And then one day, after I graduated, I worked with her for a little while. And then one day she found a salon for sale. And she's like, okay, we're going to buy that for you. I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? I don't know how to run a business. I don't know anything about accounting, employees, uh, ordering products, da 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 da. Does it,
How old were you at this time?
I was, I think, 19 or 20 at that time. So literally, she just threw me into the swimming pool. And all I remember her telling me is this, because she saw how good I was with people. Like literally, I was very good with people. And she's like, as long as you help people feel good, as long as you do that, doesn't matter what business you're in, as long as people come back to you, you're always going to be in business. And that mentality just stuck in my head for so long. It was that. So uh, at the age of 19 or 20, I literally ran my own business. I did it so well. And then, does anybody remember the 2001 9/11? Okay, so when the 9/11 hit, I had a business. I built it up from scratch. It was a salon, and then the 9/11 hit, and literally my business just died because it was in a tourism place. It was just a lot of tourism. And remember, tourism just stopped at that time. And then I was like, wow. And then it just took me years and years and years to build it back up. And then at the same time, I started to learn different behaviors from my parents, meaning that you don't take vacations, you just work. So literally, I took on what they taught me is work 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. I never took any vacations. I never hung out with my friends. And and then I started to rebel. Did anybody have any kids that rebelled? I started to rebel. Yeah, Karen knows. So I was like, okay. And then I started going down and I started partying. And long behold, I mean, I don't know where we're going to go with this story, but I just want everyone just to understand where I got my work habits from. Okay. And then, I think it was around 20, I think I was around 28, 29 at the time or something, not even 30 yet. Okay. But long story, I got married, okay, at the age of 28. My wedding was like 500 something people, and it lasted a good 8 months. Okay, I got divorced 8 months later. So the reason why I say that is because I made a lot of mistakes in my younger years because I never had like a mentor. or guidance or an older brother in a sense, or even an older sister, somebody that can really guide me through. I've made a lot of money in my young age. I mean, in my 20s, I was already like cutting 40, 50 haircuts a day. I had a wad of cash like this, Wendy, every day in my pocket. And nobody taught me what to do with it. And I just kept on buying cars. So you guys see my car, I had a car fetish, but I wish somebody would have told me, hey, Peter, you know what? Why don't you get, invest in real estate or invest in this and that? And then one day, my friend, she called me, and I think I was 28, 29 at that time. It was like 2005, 2006. Then she's like, hey, Peter, come with me. I'm like, where are we going? She's like, I'll take you. And then long and behold, she took me, and then we went to my very first network marketing MLM meeting. But that wasn't just a meeting. It was a big meeting. It was like a meeting in Florida. We had like hundreds of people there, and I was standing in the back, and I was like listening to the guy talk, and he's like, man, if you can pour this juice here and you can give it to someone and then they like it and they get healthy. And at that time, I think the biggest trend word, Wendy, was antioxidants. So
Yeah.
everybody was talking about antioxidants, antioxidants, antioxidants. I was like, okay. And then I was like, they're like, if you can pour this juice and then they can get better and then they can share it and share it and share it. And you can do it, you can help people get healthy. And I was like, wow, I have a lot of clients that need this, right? Because I was a barber, okay? So I was only cutting men's haircut. And at that time, again, at a young age, there's sometimes like my clients, I wouldn't see them for weeks. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, oh, I had a heart attack. Oh, I had this and that, So I started really learning about listening to health, but I didn't know anything about health. Again, nobody taught me anything about food, vegan, nutrition, nothing. I never heard about health until the first time I went to that meeting and learned about antioxidants. And then he's like, okay, but when you start sharing this, you can do a thing called earn residual income. Has anybody here heard of residual income before network marketing? No, I never knew what residual income was. I really didn't. And all he said is, when you earn residual income, you can get paid over and over and over again as long as people keep on ordering the products. I'm like, awesome. I think I can do this. But then he said the magic word. And this is what I want everyone to hear, the magic word. He said, but when you can earn residual income, you can do a thing called buy back your time. And remember, I was not 50, I wasn't 40, I was like 20 something, late 20s. And all I heard was buy back time. I'm like, oh man. And then he said, when you can buy time, you can literally travel. You can hang out with people, make friends. I'm like, oh, make friends? I want to do that, because I remember I was just hanging out with all my clients, okay, for years. I was like, I'll do that. And then he goes, you can travel. I'm like, I never traveled. I want to do that. They're like, you can earn residual income so you don't have to stay and work all the time in your business. I'm like, I'm sick of my business. I don't want to do that. Sure. I had no clue, Wendy, what this industry was. I didn't know what PV, BV, left leg, right leg, compensation plan. I had no clue what it was. And my friend did not know either. And her friend that introduced her did not know either. At that time, I think the company was called Mana V. Does anybody remember Mana V? Okay. It was a juice company, but just a pure excitement, I was like, wow, this thing is cool. So you want me to continue with the story?
Sure.
Just go? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I went into the business, and all they told me is, Peter, give me your credit card. I'm like, okay. And remember, I was the young entrepreneur, and all my clients, my friends or my family, whoever I was there at that time, all they told me is, Peter, come in with this package. I'm like, how much is it? $1,200. I'm like, no problem. I got money. And then I was like, then they're like, what do I do? I didn't remember. I didn't know anything. My friend didn't know anything. They're like, just buy products and give it out. I'm like, okay. And back then, I mean, a bottle was like $40 or something, or $25. And they started having juice parties, Wendy. I'm like, okay. I started calling all my friends. I did not know anything. I think my first month, I signed up like 30 people on $1,200 packages. Okay. Long story short, I thought we had to buy products, buy points, buy this, and I'm like, how do you build this? Where's the money coming from? I ended up being in a $50,000 debt. I charged my whole credit card, everything on buying products. And then one day I met somebody from another company, and he's like, we sat down and he's like, Peter, can you physically show me how to get to the top here? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, show me how you get to the top. I'm like, I don't know. He goes, if you don't know how to get to the top, how are you duplicating things? I'm like, I thought we just have to buy products. So does this resonate with everyone? Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story and exactly where I came from to make sure that you understand why we teach the things. I teach the things I do here. Okay. So my friend like, okay, why don't you come over here? I'll show you how to build this and go to the top in my company. So I went from that company. Then I went to another company, which he promised me that he's going to show me, right? Ended up being the same thing. He didn't show me. He was just recruiting me, saying BS stuff. And I respected him. I'm like, okay, let's go. And then that's when I started to learn about events, traveling, going here, doing this, Wendy. And I stayed with that company for another year and a half. I ended up being another $50,000 in debt. So now I was $100,000 in debt in my young career. And then I made one of the biggest mistakes. I didn't know my behavior, okay, everyone, and always pay attention to the word behavior. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just promised, I was dangled a carrot with no system, no structure, no leadership, no mentorship, really. But then I'm so gung ho, I actually did not cut hair. I stopped cutting hair. And I even told my parents, I'm like, I quit because I was so sick and tired, right? And Wendy, I literally told my parents I quit. I had no income and I was spending and all my credit cards at that time. And I had so much credibility with my friends, with my first database. I made them all buy $1,200 packages. But when I blew through that list, I didn't have another chance because remember, all my friends, they all trusted me. They followed because I was a young entrepreneur, but I was in a whole nother industry now, which is called network marketing. And then I went to my other company and I was like, come with me, come with me. They're like, no, Peter, why should I follow you now? You didn't make any money on your first company. Well, how can you make money on the second one? So I had a couple people follow me. And then a year and a half later, I still had no success. Then I left that company. Then I went to another company, and then I went to New Skin, and then from New Skin I met Suzanne. Remember? Everybody knows my co-host on Monday. I was her downline in New Skin. And then I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like putting creams on people's faces. I'm not going to travel and do facials for every woman and man and stuff to sell them creams. And then I went to another company and another company. Every company I've been with, though, for the last, that was my first, I believe, my first 5 years in the industry, okay? Then in 2009, 2010, I had my first home run, meaning my first company that was that I had my claim to fame, and it was a product called Protandim. It was a company called LifeVantage. It was a Protandim. It was that one pill that you literally take that can turn on all your antioxidants from the inside out. And remember, I came from Monavie. I'm like, oh, this thing could be good. Long story short, in the first 8 months, because of just the pure excitement and the technology at that time, and back then, the back then the trend word was I think it was SOD, superoxide dismutase, or something. Okay, it was some
Superoxidative dismutase and catalase. Yeah.
catalase, right? And then that, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I think everyone in the world is gonna take this. Bam! I went in, and I had a business partner at the time. Okay, everyone. So I partnered up with a very beautiful girl. She was my friend that I met from another company. And I'm telling you this for a reason, okay? I'm giving you now my real story of how I came to be. The first 6, 8 months, Wendy, we literally went straight to almost like we literally became a presidential director in that company. It was 100,000 points, and then we did it in 4 months, and then we hit 200,000 points in 8 months. So it's like almost hitting SPD in 8 months in that company. I had no clue, but the moment I went off stage, it was like that rock star, that one song wonder that you sang, and all of a sudden everybody knew you. That was me in 2009. Okay, so I enjoyed that company for 7 years. That
So
is
can
where.
I
Go ahead.
can I interrupt a little bit? So there is, I see rep repetition going on. Since you've been a kid, you didn't really have the role model, you didn't really have the training, you didn't have the experience of how to engage, interact, how to really what it takes to do anything, right? To get, have loads of friends, to live life, what is it to experience this, much less build a business or continue to maintain, retain, and flourish in MLM and a direct marketing company. But something tells me something was different with this last company when you partnered up. You learned something different. Yeah.
I learned I learned a lot. I actually learned everything from that company,
Okay.
meaning that it was the first company I was branded. I learned all the events, but what I did not learn again is I still did not have a mentor. I still did not have somebody guiding me. I didn't have a workout buddy, a real bodybuilder to really help me. We went through 7 years. Me and my partner went through 7 years. And the reason why I called it partner, okay? I had a network, I had a work habit. I thought my partner was beautiful and she could attract, and that was another bad behavior, okay? And then I partnered up. The reason why I'm saying this story is that you don't need partnerships. Okay, I've made because in a partnership is like getting married, and I was already married, remember, and it didn't work. But I still went back into that habit. And sometimes in a partnership, and this is where I'm going to share the do's and the don'ts, okay, through my story. Because in a partnership, sometimes you do all the work and sometimes the other partner doesn't. And then when it comes to that point, you start resenting a lot of things. Does that make sense? And then sometimes if you're not on the same page on a lot of things, you'll resent things. And it's like a marriage, okay? You can sometimes cannot agree on the things you need to spend, like traveling, building teams here, doing certain things. Does that make sense, everyone? It's just the way it is. And I think I'll resonate more with the people that have been in the industry more here today, okay? Instead of the new people. But for the new people that are hearing this, I'm just gonna save you a lot of time and energy and heartaches, okay? So, but in that company, Wendy, number one, it was the best technology. and it was created by Dr. McCord, which was a great scientist. But what I did not learn is that they relied on the science so much. And then what we were teaching, duplicating, is everyone to share PubMed, talk about the science, talk about the science. Guess what happened? They trained all of us to be scientists and doctors.
To be the expert.
Now does everybody understand why we created the startx39now.com? Because we don't want anyone to be a doctor or a scientist. We want you to be you. You don't need the science. And because of that, it slowed down our growth. The company went from literally 3 million, 12 million, 50 million, 100 million to 250 million or 2 something million. They never grew past that stage. And I now, being outside of that company, I understand and I'm learning. I learned a lot. And then what I realized too, we all work hard. We can all, right? We can all work hard. But you can work out as much as hard. You can show up to the gym as much as you want. But if your gym has the wrong workout equipment, the wrong trainers to train you with that equipment, you can actually hurt yourself. And I love my experience, and I'm only sharing this now because I want you to realize what we have built here, but I want you to learn that through my mistakes, okay? But I have not shared this story at all. I only shared it a little bit on stage, but today I get an hour, so we're gonna have fun with this. But what I also realized is that if you have too many events, meaning too many conventions, that company had a convention every 90 days. What did that do to all the people, the builders, the bodybuilders, Wendy?
You trained them. You stood there beside them. You supported them.
Yeah, but it also burned us all out. Imagine doing a convention for 90 days for 7 years, everyone. Where do you think all my money went?
The company.
Where do you think it made me broke? Traveling, hotels, cars, food. And guess what? Back then I had no boundaries. Does everybody understand what boundaries is? My last name is Peter NGO. No, I should have learned how to say no a long time ago. I was Mr. Peter Yes. Every day, but anybody that asked me for anything, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll pay for that. Yeah, I'll take it that. Yeah, does that make sense, everyone? You need
You're
help?
the yes man.
Yes. I was the yes man for a very long time. So again, I'm just sharing with everyone what I did. And again, then I went into more debt, Wendy. So I want everyone to know my first 10 years in the industry, I made a little money the first 5 years. I made better money my next 5 years, which is from 2009 to whatever, okay? But I had no money in my pocket. Why?
So let's focus right there, because boundaries is so important. And you could identify for people exactly what boundaries are and what you realize and learned about yourself and how therefore you created your boundaries.
So when I started to realize, I was like, business should be easy. Business should flow. If things don't flow in your life and if business is a challenge, then I was in a self-development, right? I preach this. Network marketing is a self-development journey with a compensation plan wrapped around it. Even though I thought I was self-developing, but my behaviors did not. Peter was growing, but it was in a very slow way because I was in that MLM rat race. And if you don't have boundaries, if you don't have leadership, like somebody guiding you, that's the right leadership, okay? Not the bad leadership. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit after this too. If you're being guided by the wrong bodybuilder, you can hurt yourself. I was that person. I was taught very wrong things in the industry. And that's why Marcy and I are so adamant here, because I met Marcy in that company. We were sidelines. Marcy and we knew each other because we lived in the same county and we respected each other. And every time I did a big event, it was Peter Knows event, everybody showed up. Everybody saw this event in Florida, right? 500 people. I used to do that every month. That was piece of cake. Okay, I used to do that for all my companies now. And what I did is I've learned how to burn myself out. I didn't have leadership. I didn't have duplication. And another thing is, I'm going to go into a compensation plan a little bit. We were called in a uni-level compensation plan. I never knew what it was, but until they showed me. And then I realized everybody's like, Peter, why are you in a uni-level? I'm like, why? Because if you're in a uni-level and you're a rock star, meaning that you're a very good recruiter, you're going to go wide. And when the more you go wide, it's like you're giving birth to more people. You got to support each person. So imagine, Wendy, not only I didn't get help and I was birthing all these distributors, and then I could not even help them because my time, there's only so much time and we didn't have a system. And in a uni level, you're not unified because nobody benefits from each other. So you have to constantly teach them how to build levels at a time. Levels at a time. And that's when I was like, wow. But that I learned that after I left LifeVantage. So there's a couple of real big nuggets in this on this recording, okay? And again, I'm not talking bad about any company at all. I'm just giving you my experience of what I see and what I learned. And that's why and then from LifeVantage, okay, from that company, and I was like, I think I'm done. I was done, okay? I was gonna quit the industry, everyone. And then I found in 2016, I found another company, which was a big medical device. So I went from selling a $40 supplement to a $6,000 medical device, okay? Now, there's a big story behind there. When I learned and I got into this medical device, it was a German company. And the owner name is Peter Klein. So I was like, oh my God, is that my calling? My roots are there.
I've come full circle.
Yeah, I'm coming full circle. This is gonna be my home. I'm like, yes. Right, Wendy? Has anybody ever felt that way, that they thought they found the one, right? So that was in 2016, Wendy, and I was like, okay, let's try something new. But because I had so much credibility, but people did not understand my story. They didn't know how broke I was. They didn't know the sacrifices I made. And everyone, I sacrificed my personal life, my girlfriend's lives, my parents' lives. I missed every birthday party, graduation, everything you can think of, because these companies told me, if you don't sacrifice, then if you don't drive, if you don't support your teams, your downlines, wherever, if you don't go support them right away, you'll never succeed. So you got to sacrifice. How many of us have ever heard that before? And that's the biggest BS. Okay. I was that person. I'm just telling you. Now, there is a way to work harder, or there's a way to work smarter. Okay. Now, I transitioned from that company in 2016 to a medical device. I've been there for 7 years now. And literally in that company, I learned the one thing, Wendy: quality over quantity. Because for you to learn how to sell a $6,000 medical device, and we sold over 5,000, my team sold over 5,000 of that. So I was the top Asian in LifeVantage because I opened up the whole Taiwan, Hong Kong market for that company. Then I come to this company is called Beamer. Okay, I was there, and I was the top Asian in the world in that company, and I really, for the first time, Wendy, I've learned how to have boundaries, and I had great mentors there, and I've learned literally skill sets, behaviors. So in the first 3 years in that company, I made good money, but then again, I couldn't hold that money, and I couldn't understand why. And then one of my friends came. He's like my brother from another mother. You're all gonna meet him very soon. His name is Eric. Okay, he's a bodybuilder. He's literally a nutritionist bodybuilder, Wendy. When I met him, and I met him in LifeVantage, and he came back to me in 2017, 2018. We started hanging out. I showed him this technology. That is where I started to learn about the gym analogy that we're all learning today. He literally taught me all. We worked, we messaged this, we talked, and I started to learn about behaviors more, that you cannot force people to build something that they don't know. You can't push people to the gym. When you get them to the gym, how do you support them? How do you have your own boundaries as a trainer? All the stuff that that I'm training today, I've learned from him. And long story short, even from that point on, he did not even get, and then he didn't even have success, and he left and he went to his own journey, right? But guess what I did? I used his analogy. And then I made all my money and all my success here. And then I want to share this with everyone. 5 years ago, so I've been with Lifeway for 3 years, and then 2 years before that. So my last 5 years, there was this one point that, Wendy, I remember very clearly. Remember, everyone, I was still broke, okay? Very broke. I made money, but I had a lot of debt building this network marketing business. Instrumental amount of debt. It's the kind of debt that you don't even want to be in, okay? So if you're not in debt and you have a job building this business, you're already one step ahead already, okay? Meaning there's no wolves chasing you. There's, no bill collectors, no nothing, okay? And if you want to talk about all that, I've been there, done that 1,000 times already. So that's why I don't take anybody's excuses at all, because I've already been there, okay? So, but in the last 5 years, everyone, I had to make a decision. I was like, why am I making money and I cannot hold it? It was because my behaviors, even deeper. It was my lifestyle. It was the friends I was hanging out with. It was the people that I had to take care of. I thought I had to take care of. It was just bad influence. Does that make sense, everyone? I did all those things. And Wendy, 5 years ago, I cut all that and I had to transition. And that's where we came up with the BLD, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The build yourself, leverage the tools and the people, and to duplicate the system. So whatever I'm teaching here today, we didn't make the shit up, okay? We literally lived that life. All my leaders, everyone that's here with me today, okay? And you see all of them, and you're gonna see more of them. I have not recruited cold market in the last 5 years, everyone. I have developed people. I have developed relationships so deep, and I brought them with me. And then we took all the patience in the world. And the reason why people trust me is because I have done everything wrong for them to follow me, because they know that they don't have to go through that. And because I am so networked, meaning that my name is out there, but I'm not a guru. I never got bought into a company. I never got a position. I never did the bad behaviors that even the industry did for the industry. And we can talk about that on another podcast, okay? But what I want to try and say is that even, you know, as we have a bad government or fake government, we also have a fake industry. This industry has been really, they have been put bad behaviors into leaders. And sometimes if you just follow fake leaders because they were put in a position to influence and impact you in a wrong way, that duplicates also. Does that make sense, Wendy?
Yes, totally.
And we see that, okay? So that's now in the last 5 years, year by year by year, I had to cut all the stuff out. Then 3 years ago, and just remember, when I left LifeVantage, Marcy and I always been in touch, okay? We've always dabbled in things in here and there. And then, you know, the magic happened when one day that year, it was 2019. That was the year that I literally just cut everything even more. I moved out somewhere. I locked myself into a room, and all I did is just, please change my luck, whatever it is. I prayed and something. And then, long and behold, September 4th of 2019, Marcy came to me. She literally showed me this. And when I held this patch, little Wendy, when I held this patch, it was like, took me back to 2009 when I first held that pill. I was like, the world is gonna know about this. 10 years later, I went from a company called LifeVantage to LifeWave. So I don't know what the word life meant, but there's some meaning to that word life because it's coming with me, right? And once I held this, I'm like, Marcy, if this thing does what it's supposed to do, if all these videos, if I understand all this, because remember, I came from the #1 supplement technology to the #1 frequency technology. I've been trained for a decade already, okay? And I already knew all the wrong things. I already knew all the behaviors. I knew it all. I was like, Marcy, if this thing is that good, we're gonna promise each other we're going to build a whole new organization that has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with bad behaviors in the industry. We're going to be the best workout buddies. We're going to make sure that every one of our partners have fun. We're going to make sure that we're not going to burn out anyone. We're not going to have them spend more money than they have to. We're going to do all that and be so transparent to our whole entire organization that nobody can identify who the leader is. We promised that to each other. We had no clue how fast this was going to go. All I did is from that moment on, I called all my contacts. What do you know about stem cells? What do you know about stem cells? I came in with a diamond pack, you know, I patched everyone. And remember, that was before our StartX39now.com. It was before our 333 system, Ask, Share, Give, Peak, Pre-Qualified podcast. It was before everything. It was before the COVID. It was before the podcast. It was before the Zooms. The first 5 months, we were just on pure excitement, people calling us back, going through the motion. And long and behold, Marcy hit PD in January, and then SPD in January, 4 months, 19 weeks into the business. I hit SPD 20 weeks into the business, okay? The reason why I'm sharing this speed is because this was before the lockdown, and we all did it during the January convention, which was in Las Vegas at the time. And then what happened 2 months later, Wendy? The lockdown happened.
Yeah, oh yeah, lockdown happened. That's when I came in, right after the lockdown.
Correct. And then when the lockdown happened, that is where everybody now sees the story of what this team, this organization, what we did here. Once the lockdown happened, I just got a download, Wendy. I'm like, how are we going to build this business? What the hell are we going to do? I slept through it, and all of a sudden I'm like, this business is all about exposure, 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 exposure. These are just patches. This is not a $6,000 medical device. Okay. This is not a supplement. I was like, we got to expose this. And then because of my learning from my other companies, we did conference calls every day. I'm like, why do we do Zooms every day? Now, everyone, I never did a Zoom before LifeWave.
You seem like a professional now.
I have never been on a screen like this ever before LifeWave. I was a belly to belly, straight up belly to belly guy. Okay. I knew how to make friends. People like me because I was straight up. They know my business styles. I would never do anything stupid. But again, they did not know how much in debt I was, my sacrifices, all that stuff. They just thought Peter was, oh, whatever. Okay. I didn't even have a house to build on. Okay. I just love cars. So I just drove nice cars. That's where all my money went. But that was a front. Okay. That was posturing. And we can talk about posturing next time too. So you don't need all that, right? So long story short, we did our first podcast in March of, I don't know what date, but it was March 2020. So this year in March, Wendy, it will be our 3-year anniversary for this podcast. Once the lockdown happened, all I did with Marcy is every day we locked ourselves in. Again, we just did calls and got people on the podcast. But what I want everyone to hear, wow, we have 91 people here today, Wendy. All I want everyone here to hear and listen to this. We created this so organically because it's so damn simple. Okay, now are we better today than we were 3 years ago? Yes, we've created more tools. We learned how to message things easier. We learned how to structure things better. We learned how to make trainings and then separate the trainings from the actual work. You can watch people work out and then you can physically go work out. That's what Marcy has created, that workout time. We started patching people, but because now we're so skillful, we might not even have to give away patches anymore because we're learning certain skills on how to bring more value because we have so many testimonial recordings, right? So as we grow and notice that the hardest thing as a leader, Wendy, is to get people all on the same page, all one line. Okay, now have we learned things about leadership and people? Yes, a lot. We're not going to talk about it on this call, but we've learned, that things, you can get hurt at all levels in the life, right?
Yeah, if I can say is that the difference, I mean, we've all been to those places where, that where they identify the definition of insanity. We do the same thing again and again, and we expect results. And the thing is, you stopped several times within your life and you're like, this isn't working. Okay, that's it. Clean the slate. What do I need to do? And you've done that a couple times. I want people to really hear that. Peter really looked at himself and going, this isn't working. I need to change. I need to be observant and look, see what does work and take that. And even those things that he did take, he learned that can even be fine-tuned. That can be fine-tuned, right? And so the important thing is here, be really willing to change. I mean, I was part of Life Advantage too. I've seen Peter way a long time ago. And you talk about character development. Holy cow. Peter is amazing. I mean, he was amazing all the time, but just way more, Peter, I just say you're just way more relatable now, way more in your heart, way more in your authenticity, you know what I'm saying?
Authenticity,
authentic. Thank you. Yes, way more in your alignment. And it's just so awesome to see how you have moved through this. And this is why, guys, I really want you to bring Peter to you today so you could apply this to your own life. So please continue, Peter.
I'm glad you actually brought that up, Wendy, because when I was in LifeVantage and Beamer, I was such posturing because that's what I thought I had to do. I was so in compensation plans because all I thought I had to do is talk about numbers. Does that make sense? Why do you think we don't talk about numbers here, Wendy?
To me, I just fall asleep because that's not what it's about anyway.
It's not what it's about. I was never in my heart. I never healed. And just to be honest, like because of my divorce, okay, and that was when I was 28. Since now, Wendy, like literally the last 5 years, I probably healed the last 3 years ago. So my heart was really locked up, and you can see it. And that's why I was so hard. I was hard. So coming here, this is the first time I've been soft. So I think now you're seeing the softer side of Peter, right? That's why, and a lot of people can notice that too, and whatever it is. Uh, but everything we've done here, Wendy, I just want everyone to know, Marcy and I don't teach anything we haven't done. Now, do we make mistakes? Yes, we're humans. We will always make mistakes. But can you learn and limit your mistakes? Yes, you can build up to perfection. Can we guide people to a place where they don't have to go through what we did? Yes, because there's so many of us. There's so many of us that are here now. And each one of the leaders that you meet, and you're going to meet a lot of them, Savi, Juliana, Suzanne, Sally, everybody knows Sally, okay? Everybody knows Suzanne. Wait till you meet Claudia, Eric, all these people. I have relationships with them. These are all my bodybuilders that we work out together. Now, are we gonna grow and learn to the next level? Yes. But I can tell you the reason why we can actually literally go into quality over quantity. You have to understand David Schmidt. He has built this company with a foundation, meaning that he's invested all his money into patents, into protecting his technology, into the infrastructure, meaning the manufacturing, the warehouses, the distribution channels. The one thing that you're gonna know, he never invested into the network marketing behavior, meaning he never did events. And that's why nobody knows about this company. He never hoarded out this company to the world. Does that make sense? He literally took his time to develop. And how do I know it was so good when I was there in January of 2020? Because I met the oldest distributors in the company that were there from since day one in 2004, 2005. If you can meet old distributors that are still here, that's how you can gauge the heartbeat of this company. Does that make sense, everyone? That's what we've learned, okay? And when I saw that, Wendy, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the one, right? But it was never about the money. But I don't know what it was, because maybe it was my healing, my clearing, or everyone joining. And because this is a binary. Damn, binary. How many people do you really need to develop here? 2. And you can make a living. I'm not saying you're going to be a billionaire, but you can survive and make a living. You don't have to spend more like every other companies. You don't have to do more to develop each other here. And now with our system and with who we are and with all the bodybuilders like Wendy and all 50, 60 of our EDs, PDs, and SPDs we have created here, and all our partners that are joining us. And I love seeing Karen, because I haven't seen you, Karen, in a while, right? So I'm like, wow, people are still here. People are still hanging out in this gym, even though, this gym is so huge. I don't know where everyone is. I just know whoever's on my Zoom and podcast, right? But I just love this community because we have just changed, and literally we're revolutionizing not only LifeWave, we're revolutionizing this industry. When leaders come here and they're like, oh my God, you guys don't talk about money? You don't do compensation plans? You don't posture to tell people to do this? You don't have all these bad behaviors? Now, are there other leaders that are going to come here and they still want to work out their old ways? Of course, right? But I tell everyone, if you come to this team, you better unplug and take out your 2001 or 2010 Microsoft software, and you got to download 2023 new ways on how to do things, or otherwise this gym is not for you. That is called boundaries. Okay. And yes, do we see other network marketing leaders come in here preaching, saying one thing and doing another? Yes, they're everywhere, everywhere. But that's why we have such strong leaders here to protect you. We have such strong leaders here to make sure you're guided in the right way. And if that resonates with your heart, we only bring good people here. Okay? Bad behaviors will not survive in this gym. It will not survive in this community. Trust me, it will not. Okay? And we're going to make sure.
What I like is it's like in the earlier stages, you listen to other people's guidelines, and that made you limited mentally, emotionally, spiritually, growth, your financial growth, everything is severely limited. And then you basically finally took it and you learned and created your own guidelines where they're consistently evolving. And honestly, one word that consistently comes to mind when I look at you, which is limitless. You know, it's a limitless. You want to go, what you want to do, what you want to be, how many lives you want to. It is limitless now with you.
It is amazing when you really, Wendy, when you really learn your own powers and when you heal yourself internally and when you don't give away your powers. Okay? Do not give away your powers. I will tell you, you have to sometimes be selfish in a build. That's why I say, don't give away your people. Don't give away your personals. I've already done all that before. Until one day when you are strong enough, then you can help. Then you can give away. Until then, you got to build yourself so strong, so fast, then people will follow you. People will respect you because they know. They don't want, there is no, everyone, there is no more time to waste in this industry. Okay? You've already found yours, call it, this is the graduation for you. Whether you want to take a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year course, it's up to you. Wendy, how long did it take you to get to SPD?
About a year, probably like 16 months.
Freshman and sophomore year. You did it in 2 years, less than 2 years, your sophomore year. And that's because your team, we all got each other to where we need to be, right? Because of the binary. Whatever Marcy and I have done here in 3 years, all our 15 years combined does not even match what we've made and done here in 3 years combined. So I know we only have a few more minutes left, Wendy. Is there any other questions? Anything you want to get to?
Yeah. So if anyone has a question that is pertaining to this conversation only, please, you may unmute yourself or raise your hand and we'll call upon you if you have a question for Peter or a comment, again, pertaining to this conversation only.
Marcus.
Hey, Peter, I just got to tell you, I love hearing some depth in there. Is there any books or talks that you like recently that you really have been enjoying?
You know, that's a great question. And, you know, back then, Marcus, I would tell you, I've taken a lot of courses, motivational. I went to Eric Worre. I went to every MLM guru, speaker, la da 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 da. I'm just going to tell everyone this. Find that one. Find that one that really resonates with you because they all teach the same thing anyways. I just hate to say it. They teach the same thing in different languages, okay? You gotta find that one, because if you don't, you're gonna keep on chasing that rat race where I think I need to learn more to be more. No, you need to learn that one, apply that one to get to where you need to be. And then once you're done with that, then you take on another mentor. As we go higher and higher, right? So today I don't read, sorry everyone, I don't read books. Okay, I do not read books. I listen to audio, and I listen to a lot of the new, like there's a person called, here, let me give you a name. And I resonate with this. You might not resonate with these people. I resonate with them. I'm a hardcore, I like it straight up. Okay, so let me see. There's this guy right here.
While you're talking, I remember when I was looking for different, mentors, I was following different mentors, and I was like, I need to be who they're asking me to be, which was not me. I was not honoring who I am and how I speak to people. I was trying to become somebody different, which is so going against the grain. So really don't listen to somebody thinking that there's something wrong with me and I need to be that. No, find somebody who supports who you are and they talk the same language of what you feel.
I 1000% concur, because all of a sudden when people come to this industry, you're friends. Like I talk to you like this, Wendy, and then all of a sudden I join network marketing. I'm like, oh, Wendy, I gotta be this, so you're not you. That's not you. So that's why I really resonate with workout buddies. That gym analogy is really that strong. And I listen to a couple of people. I watch them on YouTube's. Okay, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but there's a guy named Bedros Keuilian. Okay, Bedros Keuilian. He owned gyms, and he's a big. He taught a lot of things. So
how do you spell that, Peter?
His first name is Bedros. His last name is Keuilian.
Okay, Keuilian. Okay.
Yeah, he is. I just look him up on YouTube. I resonate with this person very much, because he comes from the fitness industry and he gives it to you like it is now. Okay, it's not like a how to win influence man. It's not like the Dale Carnegies. It's not like all the older philosophers. I love old philosophers. Okay, that's teaching philosophy, but in today's time, I'm teaching hardcore behaviors. It's all about behaviors now, okay? Everything else does not matter in my world. So, Debbie, you have a question?
I do. I'm only 16 weeks into this. We live in Northeast Pennsylvania. I have to say, this is an area where it is very low income.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I talk about the product, or they ask me, how much is this? And I present the wholesale packages.
Okay.
I'm getting, oh, no, I can't do that. That's too much money for me. I'm a 47-year-long diagnosis of MS patient here too.
Wow.
And I am passionate about helping people. There's so many people in this area also that need these patches. My question to you is, and on most every Zoom I listen to, you all mentioned the preferred customer program, and the bronze has not been mentioned, but I need a less expensive option to offer people so that I can get them on these patches, because I believe once they're on the patches, they're going to know, how vital this is to health, and they're going to want to stay with them. I really do. So is it recommended to offer the preferred customer package over the bronze, or what do you suggest, one versus the other? Help me.
Okay, great. I'm going to do that in 2 minutes. Okay, Debbie. So just know a lot of people resonate with you. Okay, because you're brand new.
Right.
Because you're new in the industry and because we have an amazing technology, everybody wants the product because it's helping you. So then now, again, you want to help others to get the product first. I'm going to coach you really quick on this.
Okay.
Have you heard of the term HTF?
No.
You're going to watch all my other videos. Health, time, and freedom. Now, this patch is $99 a month, right? The X39.
Yes.
It's $3.33. Or let's just say it's $4 a day, everyone. $4 a day. So maybe your lead-in, if you have an issue with people that are have challenges because of your community, a lot of it. Just think of it almost like if you live in Mexico and Philippines or Vietnam, that's a third world country. Do you think they can really afford this patch? We're not even talking about America now, right? Why are they joining this and why are they putting every effort to get into this business, even though they can't afford it, Debbie?
Because they're getting results with their help.
Nope.
It's allowing.
Because they see this as their solution to get out of their third world country.
Mm.
They see it as a solution to get out of their job. They see this patch as a solution out of maybe to save money instead of making money. So what I would do for you, what I would recommend you to do is I want you to, instead of focusing on the product, I want you to focus on the value first, meaning talk to the person, find out really before, what are your challenges? What are your issues? The first thing they're going to tell you is their health issues. Their health issues. That's how it always starts. Then I want everyone to ask, if you have your health back, what would you do with your time? I want you to find out their health, their time problems. Meaning, do they have to work 2 jobs? Do they have to take, they don't have time for themselves. They don't have time to hang out with their wives. Does that make sense? The wife, not wives, wife, okay? They don't, they don't have time to hang out with their husband, their children, because they don't have time. And then I want you to focus on finding out what their problem is in their financial or their freedom. That's called HTF. Everyone, I want you to stay in that lane. If you're having a problem or challenge with money, you got to go deeper, and you are the consultant to find out what their issues are. And everyone has 3 issues: health, time, and money. Now, if then, Debbie, I come to you, hey, Debbie, what if I have a solution for all those 3 for you?
Awesome.
What if I can tell you, awesome, right? Now, Debbie, when I talk about your health, let's go into that. Can you share with me, what do you have in your medicine cabinet? What are you spending your money on? What challenges are you having? Peter, I have arthritis pain. I have a headache. I don't have energy. I spent, so what does that tell me? When I'm listening, she's spending money on Red Bull. She's eating sugar. She's spending on hair products because she's eating bad. She's tired. Get it? She has pain because she has inflammation. Then how much are you spending on all the stuff? How much are you spending on your makeup, on your skincare? Then the first thing, instead of saying that this is going to help you, I want to know, Debbie, what if this one $4 patch can save you $10 a day?
Yeah, exactly.
Would that change the language now? Because I don't want you to sell yourself low by adapting to their mindset. I want you to build your mindset, because again, you can't please everyone. You're not there to please everyone. We are all here to find people's problems, and if we have the solution, which we do, but I don't want to give you a health solution. I want to give you a health, time, and a financial freedom guidance solution.
Right.
Does that make sense, everybody?
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Basically, you're showing them value. So people will invest their money, and if they see the value of it.
Yes.
If you keep on going with the health, everybody is the same way, Debbie. every network marketer, if they're selling skincare, supplements, they always talk about the product. It's not about the product, everyone. You are the product. You are the bridge. Get it? And if you can sell, now, has everybody heard, I don't like sales? Sales is the definition of sales is called effective communication. When you can effectively communicate and find out people's problems, and then effectively communicate your solution that you have finally found to help their problem, then you have a sale. If you know their problem and you don't have a solution to their problem, you do not have a transaction. You don't have a sale. Does that make sense, everyone? Yes. So sales are good, but it's transparent, good selling, okay? We're serving, thank you, Jenny. We're serving people, but you gotta learn, that's why we teach you what? The tools to sell value, and then you serve with those tools. You don't need to be the every and all. Does that make sense, Debbie? You're yes. Not. So as you're gonna learn with us, I'm gonna save you some more time. Plug into this, I have a training tomorrow, In the Know with Peter No at 12:30, same Zoom time, okay? 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay. We talk about these things. We talk about in depth how to teach HTF, how to learn that, how to go into that, okay? And then from there, Debbie, you're never gonna get a question. I can't afford this. Really? You can't afford? Okay. So maybe I was not clear with you that what if you get your health back? Then what if you invest $4 a day into this health? Then what if you got rid of your MS? It helped you with your arthritis, your gut issues, your energy. Now what will you have? You have time. Now, Debbie, once you have time, then you're gonna be more balanced because now you got time for your husband, your dog, your kids, clean up your house, clean up your car. And then when you have more time, guess what? You're gonna make new friends. Then you might help your friends get on this, and then you might earn a living making maybe extra $50 a day. That could equate to $500 a month or $1,500 a month. Then you're gonna make more money. Then you're gonna hit a home run because now you understand the value that this patch just gave you the 3 things that every human deserves: health, time, and money. If you have a job, you might have money, you might not have the time, and your job could be killing you. If you own your own dry cleaning, hair salon, whatever, you might be your own boss, you got no time, you got no health. Does that make sense? Once you solve one problem, you get all 3, but you can't have 1 out of 3. It has to be all 3.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, guys, I've closed down real quick. Karen, do you have a quick comment or something you want to say?
Yeah, just real quick. I've known Peter for a while. I've watched Peter grow, evolve. I've learned to grow with Peter, and I learned to listen, to learn about the people that I'm listening to communicate with them my own authentic self, my own authentic situation. And I've set up the boundaries needed that Peter spoke of so that I can be present for my life, my family, my friends, and the people that I want to help. And I want to thank Peter because he's watched me heal over the years, and you've been a big part of it. Thank you.
I love watching you heal, Karen. And just to let everybody know, if you have an excuse, go listen to Karen's story. You got to see her where she was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when I met her. It is not pretty, okay? She's gorgeous now, okay? Because of all the stuff that's happening. So trust me, this is the real deal. And thank you, Karen. And you're now blossoming out with your teams, and I can see them all here supporting you. So
thank you.
Awesome.
Also, Debbie, I sent you a message with my phone number, my family and friends. I grew up in the area you are. I know the challenge you're facing. I might have a few tips for you.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
See, there's teamwork and there's leadership.
I live near you. I left my number too. I live near you.
Oh, love
so
it.
Wendy,
Yes.
I mean, what a call today. I
Yes.
thank you for letting me just be part of this, and you know, for all of us to get to know each other. And just know, everyone, you're here to learn and heal yourself so you can heal the world. We need you. Okay, this world is not looking pretty every day. At least the last thing we have is we have each other here in this community. Sometimes, you know, sometimes the podcast is so quick, but if you look at people's eyes, this is not a yo-yo growth. We have organically just developed each other. And I just want everyone to know this year is a pinnacle year for all of us. And I want to see you at the convention. I want to see you graduate here, okay? And that's the only way, the only thank you that we're all going to get, all the leaders here, is you get to where you need to be, strong where you need to be, so we can all together leverage each other to help this world. So I love you all. You know where to find me. And Wendy, thank you so much. I love this calls and everything you do. And thank you for getting this out going. Okay, this is really
Aaron, I
awesome.
didn't get your number.
Oh, I'm so grateful to have you here, Peter. You know, we all learn, and this is what's all about, everybody, getting to know your leaders. They're just human, just like you. They're not on any type of pedestal. Their hearts are out. Their minds are ready to be, you know, to share with you what they know, their knowledge, and that's what we're all here for you to do. So thank you again, Peter, very much for joining me. So next week, I don't have it yet set what we're going to do, but on the 14th, our topic will be how to create an event. What exactly do you need to do to create an event, and everything that goes into creating an event. So that's going to be on the 14th. But next Tuesday, I don't know. I'll have to make a surprise for you. I'll let you know as soon as I know. All right, guys,
Wendy,
thank you so much for
Wendy,
coming. Thank you again,
Wendy?
Peter. Yes?
Wendy,
Yes?
can I leave Debbie my phone number? She didn't get it. Can I just say it?
Sure. Well, wait a minute.
60
Before you do, let me go ahead to stop end
Stop the
recording.
recording.
I got-
Either now you